Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It is 8/26/23. Happy Saturday, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. We're going to go through SPX on multiple time frames. Then we're going to, as we get down to the 65-minute, we'll check out SPY because that's what most people trade. And so we want to be very friendly to tradable levels and numbers. If you don't already translate those from SPX, ES to SPY. If you're not familiar, SPX is the cash market for the S&P 500. ES is the futures, and SPY is the ETF, the tradable ETF that tracks those other indices. So when we get down to the daily time frame, I'll actually show you all three so you can see that I actually like to plot them all out, and I show different things on those charts, and it gives me a better look at what's going on, because sometimes trend lines on one does not quite fit on the other, and they matter. So here we go. If this information helps, please consider going down to the description and at minimum disliking the video. That really helps. All of this helps, and if it doesn't help you, then fair enough. But we're going to continue to do this channel and try to help traders out and make some money. So here we go. SPX on the monthly time frame. We have this large channel in confluence with another channel, and also a channel from the 1929 crash. So we came up to that, reacted very hard. And so I think we have a higher level pullback or wave 4. And this wave 4 could possibly be just a simple flat A, B, C, and done. Okay. It can go much further. So this can be an A and a B, or this can be a 1 and a 2. Now those are the bearish situations. We think we are still correcting. There is a bullish scenario. We're not going to go through that today. I'll just tell you that it's on. I'll pin the video up top. It's under my big bull scenario, and then we're going to go down to the weekly time frame. Well, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and finish here with the candles. Now, we had this possible topping candle here. What's happening with the monthly time frame? We have one more trading week left. And I do think that we're going to get some sort of bounce to the upside. It's possible that we can continue lower much faster. And I'll show you that scenario when we get down to the lower time frames. But what's going to happen if we do get our bounce? We have this week, and that we think we're going to bounce into Labor Day. And so with this topping candle, I think we might have another very similar candle, which would give us tweezer tops going into September. And that would be another type of reversal formation, candle formation. And then after that, we just need a confirmation candle on the monthly time frame to continue lower. So if this were the top here, I'd consider those tweezers. And then just like this next candle, we have a confirmation candle to the downside. That is what we're looking for right here. Now this, if we go out the other way, if we just continue to the downside from here, then we already have our confirmation at the end of the week, which would be the end of the month, which would be a bearish engulfing. Okay, so either way, we're looking for a confirmation, a tweezer top, or a bearish engulfing candle, which would mean that we already confirmed the downtrend. So very important. Now I have this boxed in. We've been looking at this for months and months, and so over a year now. I think almost a year and a half. I think it's been about 14 candles wide. Plus a couple candles here that we're looking at. This consolidation zone is going to be very important. We're going to get back down to that level if, and we're going to retest the 20 monthly simple moving average that starts off this consolidation. We're probably going to bounce back and forth just a little bit in there. if we continue with this, and then we'll have to continue to monitor this on lower time frames, but we should continue after reactions down at the bottom. It just so happens to be with the 50, and then so on and so forth. So this is going to be a very important area. We do not hold this area, especially right back at the 20. That 20, I told you how important it was back here. It was that kiss of death situation. You get underneath, you kiss it, and you go down. Well, we did not, really follow through with the recession back then. We thought that we were going to reverse here, broke out, and we're going to have to back test. So that will be another pivotal moment. And I'll already tell you, if we get down to that level, bulls are going to be looking for a 1-2 setup and continuation to the upside. But either way, I think bulls and bears are looking to retest this zone to see is this pivot going to hold. All right, enough on the monthly. Let's go down to the weekly. On the weekly time frame, we're already kind of mapping this out as a bull flag. All right, that would say that this is a wave 4, and we're going to get our bull flag with an ABC. All this is a line I drew from top to bottom here, and made it an equal line from this would be wave A, wave B, and wave C should be equal to A, or at least around it. And that's what the bull flag would look like. And then we continue higher. So that's in a perfect world where our minimum correction would be, and then we continue higher. Anything else on this one? We can kind of look at what's happening. I don't want to spend too much time on these oscillators and indicators, but we did have we're having a cross over here on the weekly. We already have a little bit of that histogram turning red, so we have a cross confirmed, bearish signal. We have a bearish divergence on the RSI. That's playing out already. That's a sell signal. Now we've gotten to a very low level on that Stochh RSI. So that kind of tells us, hey, we may be a little bit oversold. This thing can oscillate down here for a while, but perhaps we get some sort of bounce here. And that's why we've been looking here in the weekly time frame and down lower for just a bounce. And again, sell signal. We had a bearish divergence here on the slow Stochh. Crossed over that 80. That's another sell signal. Sell, 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 all in the weekly time frame. So that shows exactly what this is mapping out. At minimum, that we should get a new low. That new low doesn't have to hold very long. Get right underneath the low and just get a very bullish, monthly or a couple weekly candles, 3 white soldiers, and just continue on a new bull market. That's possible. That is a scenario. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the daily time frame, where we're going to start off with the SPX. We're going to move over to the ES and SPY and give you different perspectives of why each of these matter. And I'll show you kind of my technique so I can, they're very similar, but enough difference to where it helps us with our visual. Remember, technical analysis is tons of visuals. We give visuals in this, okay? All right, so we have SPX on the daily time frame. Trend is our friend. We have this rising pivot from 2018 that's continuing up here. We saw reactions off of it and much lower as well, but these reactions in the near time broke up, fake break below it, back tested it, and I think what we're doing is kind of back testing it again. It's a big zone, so we're not probably gonna reach it. It's possible because we have a gap up top. We can go all the way back to this downtrend and still be bearish. All right, we formed this downtrend here, this blue line. If we get all the way back up here, that's still a lower high, and that would be sucking in all the bulls and wiping out a lot of the bears. So anything's possible. Very deep retracement. So I don't suspect that, but it's possible. We'll see. And what happened here this past week? We had these pivots here, and this this trend line was validated with this touch here, and we bounced off of it. So now we have a valid trend line. 2 points on a trend line is not a valid trend line. That's I would consider that more of a pivot and a spot that you can kind of oscillate through. And not to say it doesn't matter. It's just that this is very important to us now, because now we have a trend line and we bounced off of it again. And now we have this nice reversal candle, doji candle, maybe hammer, whatever you want to call it, reversal candle to the upside. And so I do suspect at minimum that we get just above this high here, but I do think we're going to go higher. And again, I'll show you on SPY why that might be. And as we get that higher low, we're gonna kind of project at this point that we're gonna retest. This is the ascending triangle that we broke out from, and I think that's what we're going to retest. And I have this green zone here that says, hey, we're gonna probably get a major bounce from the zone, and I don't think it's gonna be from the top really. I think it's gonna be more towards the bottom of the zone, or we're probably gonna get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, possibly, and then have a much larger back test of this major trend line or pivot. Okay, that's enough on that chart. Let's go ahead and go to ES. And we'll go ES on the daily time frame. Let's move it over from the 65 and go to the daily. All right, now you see some bubbles happening. You see how different this is? So what I'm picturing, because I trade futures as well, so I do the micros. I don't actually trade ES minis, but I use the ES chart. So you see this consolidation area here? It's also right around the point of control. We have a lot of trade around here. Here as well as support. Again, we spent a couple weeks here in this consolidation, and this was a pivotal point here. Remember, this is all the point of control. This is a volume node, a large volume node. Again, consolidation for a few weeks and even longer, I think over a month in this consolidation. Okay, so these all matter. And why do I have this empty one here? Because I think we're going to have trouble in that zone, and that we're going to get back into a chop zone. And that coincides with these. That's the top of this zone. And this is the bottom of this zone. So I do think if we'll look at our Elliott wave when we get to the SPY, but I do think we'll get a nice, after our bounce, we'll get a nice, or even if Monday is bearish for some reason and we gap down, I still think we'll get to the zone. I think we'll have some reactions above it, but I think we get into the zone where the point of control is. We continue to the downside. We chop around doing wave, 3s and 4s until we get our final 5 wave. We chop around and we reverse somewhere from the zone. Doesn't have to be, but I think we'll chop around here if we do break down from it. There's something that tells me, and I'll show you again on the Elliott wave going into SPY in just a little bit, that we might possibly break down from it. But if we get back into it, somewhere we're going to get a reversal, whether it's at the bottom of it or we pop back here, get overextended, and then boom, head back into it, plus higher, back testing this wedge. So that's my scenario. A big, large wave 1. All this is going to be a 5-wave impulsive move. we back test, and then we go even lower and faster. All right, so you see that perspective from here, the point of control in all of these zones that I think we're going to re-reach this zone here. We have a rising pivot that kind of coincides with that zone as well. So let's go ahead and go over to SPY and give another perspective. Let's get off of this hourly chart and let's go over to the daily, and then we'll check out the Elliott wave right after that. So again, this is the same sort of thing that we're in right now. This is a chop zone. So we're in this chop zone right now. I suppose we'll try to break out of it. The bulls will test the waters, and we'll see if we can break down from it. And this zone, you see how empty this zone is from about 430 to about 415. Let's just say about 15 points. That's 150 on the ES or XPX. So about 15 points of just drop, open air. So once we break down from the zone, we should accelerate and go to test these again, the same areas that I was talking about, these consolidation zones. And then we have a trend line from the bottom of the Corona crash. Trend line here. So we'll be testing that at some time. And then if Elliott wave works out properly, and let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit and notice these zones about 390, 392, 406, 415. And now let's put on our Elliott wave board. So what we're kind of projecting, I didn't do my times yet. I have to adjust these times for, so don't look at those. They are pretty light anyway. So I'm looking at this wave 1 being in, and we get a higher pullback for wave 2, possibly to the 62%. And that can give us a projection from wave 1 to 2. This wave 1, that would be 100%. And then 62% extension. So that would be this 1618. That would give us the size of wave 1 plus the pullback plus 62% down there. That gives us that 406.58 area. Look at that. That's right at the bottom of that chop zone that I'm talking about. So if price accelerates this nice big wave 3 where I have marked here, it hits the bottom of the zone,